Hi, it's Kyle from Bitewing Games, and today we're learning how to play the Sasquatch Expansion for Trailblazers. In the Sasquatch Expansion, you're going to be working cooperatively, building loops in a shared area. But one player may secretly be a Sasquatch, hoping to sabotage the rest of the team. Can you figure out who the Sasquatch is and successfully trap him? Let's jump right in. Let's take a look at the setup. Gather one human card per player at the table, along with a Sasquatch card. So for our 3-player game, you'll have 3 humans and the Sasquatch. Shuffle the identity cards and give one to each player, placing the remaining card face down back in the box. That means that the Sasquatch might actually not even be in the game. Arrange one regular camp card of each type into a column, and arrange the discard trackers into an ascending row as shown. Shuffle one deck of trail cards and deal 2 cards to each player. The player who most recently went hiking, biking, or kayaking is the starting player. On your turn, you'll typically lay one of your 2 cards into the center of the table, and the other card you'll discard into one of the 3 discard piles. And then you'll draw back up to 2 cards. Turns will go around and around until the Sasquatch is revealed, or until one of the 3 discard piles are completely filled, ending the game. To begin the game, the starting player will, instead of laying their trail cards, choose one hybrid camp card to start the game, laying it out on the table. Then the next player will take a regular turn, playing one card and discarding the other. As the game continues, players will discard cards into this 4 and 8 column. At that point, the next player won't lay one of their trail cards. Instead, they'll add a hybrid camp card to the center of the table. For example, after Amanda places her card here, she discards her other card into this 4 column. Cammy goes next. She won't lay or discard trail cards this turn. Instead, she will choose and place a hybrid camp card. And this only happens the first time a card is placed in the 4 or 8 column. The rules for placing your trail cards is the same as in the base game. All cards must be adjacent to an existing card. You can overlap other cards, but not camp cards. Trails don't have to match, but you want to create loops that start and stop at matching campsites. So this is a closed loop. This is not a valid loop because it doesn't start and stop at a matching campsite. As far as communication, you can't tell players exactly what cards you have, but you can tell them what the longest trail type is. I have a red card and a blue card. You can tell other players that you have a good card for a specific location, or which trails you want to focus on closing. You can also help other players figure out the best spot for their trail cards or the camp cards when they reveal them. So as the game progresses, humans are trying to score the most points possible for closed loops. And as a reminder, each marker along a trail is a point, so this is a 6-point loop. The Sasquatch, however, wants to score more points than the humans, so they want to sabotage the humans' paths. But they don't want to make it so obvious because they don't want to get caught. Once one of the 3 discard piles reaches the 12, the game ends and you tally your score. Humans will score for each closed loop. If there is no Sasquatch, the humans are simply trying to score at least 50 points. If there is a Sasquatch, the humans are trying to score more points than the Sasquatch. And the Sasquatch doesn't score for closed loops, rather the Sasquatch will score for animals in the discard piles. Throughout the game, you'll be laying one card and discarding the other. So humans will want to avoid discarding animals as much as possible. The Sasquatch will score points for each animal in the discard pile. Each animal is worth 4, 5, or 6 points, depending on the number of players. If the humans have as many or more points than the Sasquatch, then they win the game. Otherwise, the Sasquatch wins. But what fun is a Sasquatch game without a chance to find and trap the Sasquatch? After a player's turn, another player can accuse that player of being the Sasquatch. If they're wrong, the humans automatically lose. But if they're right, a Sasquatch hunt begins. The player who is discovered to be the Sasquatch will place the Sasquatch figure on the card that they just played. The Sasquatch can actually even reveal their own identity. To do so, they just, after laying one of their trail cards, say, "I'm the Sasquatch," and they'll place the Sasquatch token onto the card that they just played. The only restriction is that the card they just laid cannot be touching a campsite. If the card is touching a campsite, they cannot reveal they are the Sasquatch this turn. In either case, whether they're discovered or they reveal themselves, a Sasquatch hunt will begin. The goal of the Sasquatch hunt is for humans to catch the Sasquatch by completing a loop that uses the card the Sasquatch is on. All players will discard their hand of cards. The Sasquatch will gather each discard row individually, shuffle them, and form 3 draw piles next to the camp cards. Flip the Sasquatch hideaway card and place the countdown tracker on the 0 space. During the Sasquatch hunt, the Sasquatch player will watch in anticipation, but won't actually take any turns. To begin the hunt, the player to the left of the Sasquatch player will draw 2 cards from any of the draw piles. They can draw from the newly formed draw piles or from the original draw pile. Throughout the game, players have been playing one card and discarding the others. Humans want to discard trail cards that match the campsites, so discarding blues to the blue discard pile, browns to the brown, and red to the red discard pile. That way, when you're looking for a specific type of trail card, you know where to look. But don't forget, the Sasquatch has definitely been sabotaging this throughout the game. When you draw cards, you can draw 2 cards from the same pile, or you can choose 2 different piles to draw 1 card from. Reveal the 2 cards. If either or both cards show an animal, move the countdown tracker 1 space forward. Play one of your cards and discard the other. If the humans close a loop that includes the card the Sasquatch is on, they win the game. But once the token reaches the 5, that player finishes their turn, and if the humans haven't formed a loop, the Sasquatch wins. And now you know how to play the cooperative Sasquatch expansion for Trailblazers. The rulebook is full of tips and strategies of which cards you may want to discard, or why you may want to reveal that you are the Sasquatch. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Until next time.